Brought to you by Next Version U, the story, the perspective that changed everything. He arrived early, as he always did. The hotel ballroom was supposed to be empty, rows of chairs waiting for an audience, the stage neatly lit, the scent of fresh coffee drifting from the hallway. But instead, it was chaos. The room was packed. Another event was in full swing, and it was his room. Panic struck instantly. He had been organizing seminars for years, but never one this important. The guest speaker, a man whose wisdom had quietly shaped an entire generation of thinkers, was due to arrive in a few hours. Hundreds of attendees had paid to be there. Everything was scheduled to the minute, and now everything was falling apart. He found the hotel manager, who smiled politely and said, "Don't worry, they'll be done by 9:30. You can start setting up at 10." He wanted to laugh. It took hours to prepare a room of this size. Sound checks, product tables, lights, registration, seating. People would start arriving long before that meeting ended. There was no backup plan. Every other ballroom was booked solid. He felt the weight of it all, the expectations, the money, the reputation, and worst of all, the fear of disappointing the one man he admired most. By the time his mentor arrived that morning, the young promoter was rehearsing his apology. He approached him with the heavy shame of failure pressing on his chest. I'm sorry," he began. "They double booked the room. We'll have to start late, maybe by 11. People will have to wait. I tried everything." The mentor listened silently, eyes calm, hands tucked into his coat pockets. Then, after a long pause, he smiled. Not the kind of smile that ignored problems, but one that dissolved them. "It's all right," he said softly. "It's not like a good friend just died. Now that would be a problem." He looked around the crowded hallway and added, "We'll explain the situation. They'll understand. I'll make it up to them. I'll give them my best talk ever." For a moment, time froze. The young man's panic evaporated, replaced by something else: perspective. That simple sentence rearranged the entire world inside him. It wasn't the situation that mattered, it was how he carried it. Later, the seminar began. A little late, yes, but filled with an unusual energy. The mentor spoke longer than planned, his words sharp and generous, and by the end of the day, no one remembered the delay. The young man, though, remembered everything. Years passed. He would go on to organize countless events, lead companies, and work with names far larger than his own. But in quiet moments, when things fell apart, when plans went sideways, when the pressure mounted, he heard the same calm voice in his mind. "It's not like a good friend just died." It wasn't just a phrase, it was a philosophy, one that taught him that nearly every problem, when seen through the lens of gratitude, becomes smaller than the life you still have, and that was the lesson that changed everything.